Welcome back to Cantina Talk. I'm here with Jared.
I'm here with Ryan.
Just got done watching the final chapter in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. First off, spoilers. If you have not watched this, even if you're thinking, oh, I'll just watch the review, no, don't. Just watch the episode. There's some pretty awesome moments in it. Okay. Do I even have to ask the question? Or just want to roll right into my annual first question?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I liked it a lot. I think this was a good episode, a good season finale.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could have been a little bit better.
I agree.
A little bit bigger, more jaw-dropping, I guess.
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, let's just hit the nail on the head right away. What everyone is wanting to talk about. Luke Skywalker shows up.
Yes.
At the very end of the the episode, the person, the Jedi that Grogu reached out to.
Grogu, yeah. Supposed
right.
to be following or going and retrieving Grogu.
So what did you think about the time of his arrival? Not his arrival alone, but the time of his arrival. When it happened, right before the Dark Troopers break down the door.
I thought it was good timing. I mean, it was kind of like, oh, what's going to happen? And then you're like, oh, somebody's going to come and help.
Right.
We immediately started thinking, who's it gonna be?
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be that Jedi too. I was like, all right, we're gonna find out now. That's right. Yeah. And of course the X-wing flies in. You know it's someone from the rebellion. I then knew it was gonna be Luke Skywalker. Kind of still thought it might be Leia because she has got her training from Luke at this point. And then in walks Luke Skywalker and he demolishes these things.
Yeah, the Death Troopers?
Yeah. Or Dark Troopers, yeah. And so what did you think about the action, that scene, him taking them out?
Oh, I thought it was amazing. He literally just destroyed them.
Right.
With no problem at all.
I love seeing a Jedi master, right? I mean, I assume you could say he probably would have been he has the skill level of being a master, right? Being trained under Obi-Wan through Force Visions and some of the other people he's reached out to through Force Visions, and it's like, I love seeing a Jedi Master just go like, oh, okay, yeah, this is how I do it. This is work. Like, it's work to him.
Yeah.
Like, like that feeling when you're at work and you get so good at something and it just becomes second nature and it's almost boring at that point. That's what it felt like. Yeah. It felt like he was just walking through them like, all right, here we go.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, sweet scenes there. The thing I'm not super keen on, which I'm sure is going to get pointed out everywhere, which really isn't that big of a deal to me, but it did take me out of it, is the visual of it. It didn't look great. Mm-hmm. You're going to do a CGI of Mark Hamill's old face onto an actor's body. I think that technology, I actually think that this didn't look, I thought, and people were giving Tarkin crap back when Rogue One happened, and Tarkin was in that. I think, personally, the face looks better, but it did not look like it attached to that body.
Yeah, it was just like a floating head almost. And
moving back and forth looked like a video game. Mm-hmm. You could almost see it, like, rendering. I don't know. This technology isn't there for me. I think Tarkin looked better, personally. Yeah. Which I think because a lot of people didn't like Tarkin, and a lot of people did not like Leia in Rogue One as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think that this looked worse than The Rise of Skywalker, obviously different budget, and you don't have a whole lot to work with. I mean, they're turning around the show in a year. But with all that said, I think that we're at a point where can we just if Luke is kicking around in this universe, can we just cast an actor? Let's just cast an actor, and then if we're gonna do it, or wait until the technology is better, because I really don't want to see Mark Hamill, or I don't want to see the CGI thing, because it takes me out of it. And like, I'd rather wait 5 years, wait until the technology is really good, then start telling these Luke Skywalker stories, or cast a Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, I mean, you showed me the picture right before this, and he looks just like Luke.
Yeah.
Just like Luke. I mean, the only problem would be the voices, but there's ways around that.
Right. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, Google Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker. He is they almost look like twins, legitimately. Yeah. And he looks like that now. Of course, he plays Bucky in the Avengers stuff. So, I mean, my opinion is, don't do what you're doing now. I don't like this approach, because I get that it's like, hey, you're still getting him, but I want it literally like takes me out of the scene a little bit. I go like every time I see him move and act, my brain is going, that's not Luke Skywalker, that's not Luke Skywalker, and that's not what should be happening in that scene.
Yeah.
If you tell me 6 months before, not, I mean, you know, if this happens, and then you go, you're gonna have the initial rush of, oh, they recasted Luke Skywalker. Oh my gosh, that's the cardinal sin. Yeah. That is so horrible. But then you're gonna go back and rewatch this episode and go, actually, I kind of like Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker. You know, he did all these things to Luke, and I like that he made it his own, but he also carried on the legacy. But now, in 5 years, when we go back and look at this episode, if they haven't touched it up, even in 10, 15, 20 years, it's gonna look rough.
Yeah, it's gonna look
real
really
rough. But we still got Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian, which is awesome. Of course, he comes, he takes Grogu, and he says, I gotta take him away. Very curious where Grogu goes and what he does, especially Episode 9, or the events, I guess, of the sequels in general. You know, when Palpatine comes back, what is he, or Snoke, for that matter, what is he doing? I get Luke's hiding. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Where's Grogu?
Yeah.
He's still relatively young at that point, but I'm curious, and I think that Star Wars now has to answer that. I mean, obviously, I think they're going to,
You
but
think they're going to do another movie, or?
I don't know where they'll answer this. I think they'll probably answer it in The Mandalorian, the final seasons, I think, which will wrap up the episode, the events of the episode. That's pretty much all that happened. I mean, Moff Gideon gets taken out.
Yeah, he's not dead.
No.
They just knocked him out. He almost killed himself.
This season, and I always say that this is an ongoing debate between me and Eric, is how dark is Star Wars? Because sometimes it doesn't feel very dark. Other times you have people almost committing suicide with a blaster right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, good lord.
And it's on Disney Plus.
And they kill a lot of people in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people, like, small tangent, but I always wonder if there's that one stormtrooper, that is like, he's walking around and he goes, man, I really hate my job. I kind of wish I could join the rebellion, but I just can't, because, you know, how would I even go about joining the rebellion, and what if the Empire tracks me down? And then he sees a Jedi, and he goes, oh! And then the Jedi just cuts his head off. And he's like, and his last moments was, oh, he came to rescue me! And they just mow him down. They don't even care. Like, or some rebel walks in and shoots him in the head and he's undercover. And it's like,
Yep.
Like, they mow through a lot of people here. And we don't need to go into this, but the stormtroopers, they're at a point where they're not even getting shots off. They're standing in corridors and not even shooting. And I hate how stormtroopers will fire and miss, but then once they get the clean shot, they go, drop your blasters. And it's like, dude, this is your shot, man.
Shoot him.
Yeah. Oh boy. And like when they had on the brig, they had Fennec and Cara Dune just standing there while the Mandalorians were under the bridge. They had just seen them murder their friends, and new stormtroopers got out and go, drop your weapons. And it's like, oh, guys.
Idiots.
Yeah, idiots. But I think that Moff Gideon, real quick, a quick touch on him, he is a great villain.
Oh, yeah. He really thinks things through. Like, he knew exactly what was going to happen until Luke showed up, and then he was like, oh, shit.
Right.
I fucked up somewhere.
Yeah, the reason that people like Thrawn and people like Palpatine, the reason I like them more than someone like a Vader, because your Vader's smart, yes, but he's pretty much just an intimidating tank.
Yeah.
But you get someone like Grand Moff, who not necessarily the greatest fighter, but he always has a backup of what he's going to say if it goes wrong.
Yep.
And I really like that. Like, the moment that he got caught, I was like, okay, what is he going to do now that he's caught? Because his plan fell through. What is he going to do now? And I do like, even though I think some of this, I still think that they probably realistically should have just murdered him right there and been like, I'm not going to let this guy pull any more tricks. Blah, dead. But they didn't. That's fine. Moving on. And I like that, yeah, he gets in the whole Mandalorian blade stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, no, she can't. She can't. And I'm just like, oh, I love this. I love this, like, him gasping for air, kind of, like, metaphorically, like, has no cards. He has no weight. He has no, what's the word I'm looking for? He's got no stakes. He has no reason to to have any levity in the situation, but yet he still is able to go, hey, no, you can't, and here's why, and I have the reason.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I liked him a lot, and I hope we get to see more of him. Although, like, yeah, I hope it's done well. There's a lot of tropes of the bad guy getting away, or you mow down 100 stormtroopers, but then when it comes to the guy that's actually done the wrong, you don't kill him.
Yeah.
And that, to me, has always been a little just like something you got to look past if you're a fan of really any sort of novel other than Game of Thrones. That's why I like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is like, no, yeah, you get the guy that you're trying to kill, you kill the guy you're trying to kill.
Yeah.
Like, the moment you're able to, you kill him. But, you know, it's Disney Plus, it's a fantasy show. I understand they got to keep this show going. So, overall, I would say decent episode.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on the Mando himself. The last couple episodes, he revealed he took his helmet off and showed his face. And like we said last time, we wanted a better moment for that.
Right.
Why not now?
Thank you. I think we have a telepathic link, because when that happened, my first response was, wow, that's really touching. That was my very first response. The response right after that was, this would have been 1,000 times more touching if he didn't take off his helmet last episode.
Exactly. So, like, I don't know. I feel like they could have changed. They could have moved things around and had that happen in that moment. So it made it more special. Right.
Oh, that would have changed that moment so much. The first time he actually takes his helmet off in front of other people is just to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Dude, I would have lost it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think we both felt that, like, and again, these are small gripes, but when you're talking about themes and when you build something up that high, I think that moment you're right, it would have been a lot richer.
Yep, I agree. We just kind of got gypped from it because of the last episode. But
right. And then credits roll. Yay. Stay through the credits, by the way. And if you are listening to this and you just watched the episode and you turned it off, go watch the credits and come back here. But if you don't wanna, or you already seen the credits, Boba Fett goes back to Tatooine, and he takes over his den from Jabba the Hutt. Well, not from Jabba the Hutt. Obviously, Jabba's dead, but he takes over the den and takes over the mantle and sits on his throne.
Yes.
What did you think about that?
I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was very good. I mean, they're building up a storyline that we're hopefully going to see soon.
Yeah, you had a really interesting thought about that. Will you talk me through that? Because I didn't even realize this until you said something, and I went, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it said the book of Boba Fett. And Ryan was like, oh, is that like a book that you can read? Or is it going to be a TV show? And I said, well, The Mandalorian's in chapters, like chapter 1 through 16. So it might be a TV show.
Right. And to jump back, he kills Bib Fortuna was the name. I couldn't remember it, but I Googled it. Yeah, so that's like the guy, he's in episode 5 and episode 6. He's the one that he's like the right-hand man to Jabba. And to go a couple more things, I mean, obviously love the Gamorrean guards. I love that. The blue Twi'lek that is chained up, she, in episode 5, I could be misremembering, so please correct me if I'm wrong. In episode 5, she's dropped in the Rancor pit, and I think it's assumed she gets eaten. I think you hear her screams. And it's interesting, either A, she survived somehow, which is kind of a cool story, surviving the Rancor pit, and was hiding during Luke's battle with the Rancor, or B, this is another blue Twi'lek that's dressed the exact same that they've got chained up. Or C, I'm misremembering and she doesn't die. Which it probably is C, but that's just weird things I kind of thought of. But I like that scene. Also, goosebumps, and I don't know why I didn't think that this moment was going to be on screen, but of course you're going to have Boba Fett sitting in Jabba the Hutt's chair.
Oh, yeah.
And Fennec's there too, like sipping on some whatever blue milk cider thing. Yeah, and it's like, oh crap. So, I think we talked about this earlier in the season or before the season. We said, no, it was Bo-Katan's episode, which she's in this episode, by the way. Totally skipped over her. She's awesome. And I think that actress lied to the public, which is I'm all for. I think she said she's not in the season anymore. Because someone asked her, like, are you going to be in the rest of the season? She goes, no. I think that she said, no, I'm not. Her name is, it's not Ashley Eckstein. I don't remember the actress's name. She's the same person that voiced her in Clone Wars and Rebels. But yeah, she was like, no, I'm not in the rest of the season. Surprise, she is. Yeah, I like that. Like, with all the leaking news, I like that they can lie to me, lie to my face in the public. I'm fine with that as long as I get surprised during the episode.
Instead of, saying, oh yeah, I'm in the rest of the season.
Right,
And
you're
then
like,
you're,
okay.
you're expecting it.
Right. Anyways, yeah, so she's in the episode, did a great job, but we were talking in her first episode, we said the theory of
What Mandalorian is.
Yeah, what is
show.
The Mandalorian? What is the show The Mandalorian? Right. Yeah, do you kind of want to expand on the thought of that we kind of carried on through that episode?
Well, I mean, the Mandalorian could be anybody. There's many Mandalorians throughout the TV show, so
Right.
it could be her, or it could be Boba Fett. And as the Boba Fett credits came on, we came to the theory that that Boba Fett might be the next season.
Right. Yeah, so like what if you do season 1 and 2 is Din Djarin, as we know him, his name, taking the child to his rightful owner. That's Din Djarin's story.
Mm-hmm.
Story number 2, seasons 3 and 4, is Boba Fett, mainly, and then maybe he runs into Din Djarin, taking back Tatooine and wronging those that wronged him. A la Mace Windu, please.
Yes.
Going hunting down Mace Windu. That's season 3 and 4. Season 5 and 6, Moff Gideon breaks out of prison, tries to retake Mandalore. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you follow Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
That's kind of our thinking. I mean, and then maybe you do a 7th season, which is our Mandalorian, Din Djarin, who appeared in season 3, 4 as side character, and then in 5 and 6 as a side character, who comes and you have a final season wrapping up the child's story.
Yeah.
10, 15 years later.
Yeah. I like that whole
Should we have
setup.
a job at Lucasfilm and writing?
I think we should just start setting up all the Mandalorian
Yeah, I
seasons.
think we should too. I think it would. The show would change a bit, but I think that it would be pretty good. Yeah, because December 2021 is when they came out last week and said, hey, next, and I didn't even put this on the site, which I should have. They came out and said, next season of The Mandalorian is premiering in December 2021.
Yeah, and that's what was said after Boba Fett's little scene.
So I'm pretty sure that it is going to be him. Yeah, now that I think of it. Because they wouldn't... Why would they announce a book at the end of a TV show?
Yeah, like a book. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
and
here, go read this book. You just watched The Mandalorian.
Right. And if you're listening to this, I'm sure the answer's probably already out there. I bet you that someone tweeted, yeah, we're doing a show. But we don't have that knowledge. We literally just came in from watching the episode. So, wow. All right. Cool. Well, how many severed Luke Skywalker hands out of 10 would you give this episode?
For the final episode, I would like it to be a 10, but I'm gonna have to give it like 8.5.
That's exactly my rating, is 8.5. I just think the Luke face stuff could have been a little bit better. I think that having it all take place in all one location, although it's okay, it felt a little... I don't know. You're right. It didn't really feel like a finale, to be honest. Yeah. It except for those last moments, did a little bit feel like that.
Yeah, and even then, in those last moments, it could have even felt more like a finale.
Right.
Had there been changes throughout the season.
And honestly, the Stormtrooper stuff is starting to bother me. Maybe I'm not a good Star Wars fan. Like sometimes I feel like that when I'm bothered by Stormtroopers, but there's no justice for Stormtroopers. They are not even getting off shots anymore.
Yeah, they're just acting dumb and getting slain.
Yeah. I mean, oh, dude, I want a show. We're going to end on this real quick, but I want a show where you've got a main character and then a Stormtrooper just kills the main character and everyone around him's like, whoa, dude. You did that? And then him just going back and, like, never stopping telling the story. Like, he only tells the story his whole life. And they're like, oh, you the guy that actually shot one of the Jedi? And he's like, yeah, I did. Uh-huh. And they're like, oh, my God. Like, I don't know. I think that would be kind of fun. Or maybe a book or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know about a TV show.
No, they're never going to do that in a TV show. But yeah, maybe like a side story in a chapter in a book of this guy. Be like, dude, I shot a Jedi. Like, no, you didn't. No one shoots Jedis. We always miss them.
Yeah, right.
Or like, I shot someone that had speaking lines. Like, give us that. Like, hey, that guy had speaking lines and I shot him. I can't believe that happened. All right. Well, we are done with The Mandalorian. In 2 weeks, maybe we'll come back and do a wrap-up episode. I think I would like to do that just kind of in next week we'll have like a formal Cantina talk, but then after that we'll do our final Mandalorian of this season, where we just talk about this whole season and then probably the whole series so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8.5. Both you and I. Thanks for joining us here with Cantina Talk, and until next time, may the Force be with you.
Always and forever.